Welcome to another week here of Huddle Up on Northwest Access Television. I am your host, Paul, and to my right, Dustin. Another week of football, week 3.
Should be a good week of football. I think.
Is there tension right now between us, or no? You get your
I don't have
Houston
tension.
Texans playing the New England Patriots. New England Patriots finally coming back to life this week, back to reality, as opposed to Houston also getting squeak by with a win, or no?
I'd call it squeak by.
Squeak by with a win.
I'd call it the Bengals don't know how to play
anymore?
Football.
Just the look of Andy Dalton on the sidelines late in that game of just, what can I do?
You just feel bad because it feels like somebody just kicked the puppy. That's how I feel when I look at the Bengals. I look at a team that they're just mediocre. They're just terrible. They're terrible, but they're not terrible enough where they have fired Marvin Lewis yet. I think this is the year.
I still don't understand how he's not fired yet. I mean, the guy hasn't won a playoff game.
He's got to have dirt on the owner. He's got to have
you almost think that, don't you? Is there something inside that organization where he can't get fired?
He's got IRS dirt on the owner too, like IRS tax returns or something like that. I think that's the only way. After
the games we've seen so far this year from a few teams, there are a lot of coaches that may not make it out of this year.
A lot of coaches between there are a lot of coaches who are on the hot seat, and there's a lot of bad football this year.
There has been. I think
it's been bad.
And honestly, it's from the veterans that you're seeing. You're seeing a lot of bad play from the veteran players as opposed to the newer players that are actually fun to watch and doing well. We talked about this last week too, but we just said beforehand, someone like Goff and Simeon as quarterbacks, you're actually not. It's not bad to look at. It's like, this is actually fun to watch them play football.
I don't even think there's a good football game this week. Wow, look at this schedule.
There's a bunch of pick'ems this week.
I'd take week 3 off. If you want a day to mow the lawn, it is week 3.
I think I took away teams in most of these games.
We got Rams, 49ers, trash. Ravens, Jaguars in London, trash. Browns, Colts, dumpster fire. Giants, Eagles, that might be fun, but the Giants are trash. Dolphins, Jets, the Jets better like next year. Broncos,
you got Cutler on one side and the Jets on the other. What's the problem?
Broncos, Bills, Saints, Panthers. The Saints could win that game, but the Panthers are the worst 2-0.
Panthers aren't scoring right now.
The Panthers are the worst 2-0 team in the league. You have one good game, Falcons, Lions. That'll be fun.
The Panthers have scored 32 points this year. However, they've also only let up 6 points. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah. Win's a win. A win's a win. A win's a win.
A win's a win. So we've made our picks the last 2 weeks. I have standings for us. The first week, we both went 8-7.
All right.
Because Tampa Bay and Miami was postponed. And the second week, we both went 11-5. So we are tied up right now at 19-13.
That's not bad. We're not doing bad.
I think that 19-12. I'm sorry.
That's a respectable number.
Yeah,
19-12
works for me
so far.
I'm
not picking the Browns every week now.
Because you're not picking them, even though I think I did last week.
I picked the Browns last week.
We both picked the Browns last week.
We both picked the Browns last week.
I didn't have faith in that Ravens team.
Which really shows how much faith we have in the eliteness of Joe Flacco.
Yeah,
where we would pick the Browns.
So we're going into this next week. We're going to talk a little bit about, of course, we're going to do our picks later on. But I want to talk about a few other topics in the NFL season. I talked to you. I texted you last night. And said I really want to talk about hitting high or hitting low. I forget the wide receiver that said it.
Larry Fitzgerald.
Was it Larry Fitzgerald?
We had this discussion 2 weeks ago before I went on vacation.
Right. And here's where I have a different take on it, I think.
You do?
Yes. So Larry Fitzgerald says, hit me high. No, I don't think it was Larry Fitzgerald. This is another wide receiver that's come out and said this. Please hit me high. I'd rather not get hit low. And I think my new take on this is I don't think you get a choice. You don't get a choice anymore. I think I've been turned on this, and I'm trying to compare it to other teams. It's not like it's like with the CC Sabathia issue with the Red Sox, where they were trying to bunt and get on base. And he says, why don't you try and hit me instead of trying to bunt on? Why don't you actually try and get a hit and get on? And the way I looked at that argument was you don't have a choice. This is a game. There are ways to get on base. This is how it's going to happen. If a cornerback has to go at your legs to take you out and tackle you, that's his choice. He's already been told by the league who he can and where he can and cannot hit. He's chosen that angle. If you don't like it as a wide receiver, then find either another way to elude that tackle or you don't play.
I mean, that's an evolution of a take right there, Paul.
I have to look at it both ways because as a player, you're saying hit me high, don't hit me low, but you're playing a game. There's different ways to play the game. You don't have a choice how an opponent attacks you.
I mean, you can offer and say, hey, hit me high instead of hitting me low, but no, you don't. At the end of the game, at the end of the day, if I'm a defensive player, I am looking to make the tackle in whatever means possible.
Do you think people are facing someone like Travis Kelce and Julio Jones and Gronkowski up high? No, they're going to get them low.
You ain't catching Julio Jones.
I know, but I'm saying you're going to hit them low because that's where big men fall hard. That's how that works.
You hit them at the knees and they fall, and that's how you get a tackle without hurting yourself.
Yeah, you're not going to take on someone like a Travis Kelce or a Gronkowski up high because you're going to get beat every single time.
That's a terrible, terrible idea.
So I think for me, when it comes to a wide receiver asking, "Oh, please, save my career, hit me high," I'm going, you know what? You don't really have a choice. You're playing the game. You're going into it like everyone else, knowing the risks and what injuries may lie.
And if you want to be hit high, or if you want to control how you hit, then you want to get out of bounds. That's how you do it. You get out of bounds. You get out of bounds or you get down after you get the ball. If you want to save your career, you get smart about those things. Because, you don't always have to extend for yards after the catch. You can get a 20-yard catch, and you can get out at the 25-yard line instead of, getting out at the 27-yard line and just getting whammed.
That resonates in my head so much from the Super Bowl because clearly, the Pats won the Super Bowl. They do a whole big special on them because that's what the NFL does, and that keeps being played in my head. I think it was Dante Scarnecchia, the offensive running backs coach or lineman coach or whoever it was, but he kept telling the running backs, don't try to do it all in one play.
No, you don't
just
have to
get enough. Don't try and go that extra yard. And that can really translate to not just a Super Bowl, but it can or coming from behind. It can translate into life in general. You don't have to get that extra play. You don't have to get that highlight play. Just get enough to get the first down. I've said this when we watched games before where it's like 3rd and 2, and you're going for a 15, 16-yard play.
Oh, there's nothing that annoys me more than 3rd and 2.
You need 3 yards.
Shotgun offense. I hate it.
You need 3 yards. You don't need 15. You don't need 20. It happened. That was at the end of the Patriots game against Kansas City. They're 2nd and 4, 2nd and 2, 2nd and 3 and 2, and they're just chucking it downfield. And then my comment was, this looks like a flag football game. Hey, everyone, just go deep.
I want to go deep. Chuck it. We're going deep.
It drives me to this little things in football that just aren't necessary. So I think that really kind of you don't have to go that extra mile every single time. Yes, when it's I guess if it's absolutely necessary. Even when it's absolutely necessary, I don't think it's needed because there's so many times where a player can spin left or spin right or fall left or fall right and be completely healthy. And if they take the other option, they're going to get slammed.
Yeah, it's football. It's a contact sport.
That's what I'm getting at.
There's no way around
going in. It's not like you're going in as a wide receiver. You've been hyped up by this coach all this time, like, oh, you're never going to get hit. You're so fast. Nothing's ever going to happen to you. No, you know the consequences of playing football. So if a cornerback has to go low because they keep getting yelled at to go high, from going high, I mean, who do you side with?
I side with whoever is on my team. Or
whoever's on my fantasy team.
I side with the winners of the game. It's football. It's a contact sport.
I'm just saying, take random player B and random player A, have them go at each other. I mean, whose side are you really on here?
I'm on the side of whoever is. It's hard to say whose side I'm on. It really is because,
I think it all can be justified. I think if you're a defensive back that has a history of doing it, yeah, I mean, maybe you need time to change the way you do things.
There's a difference between a dirty low hit and a low hit. I think, Bernard Pollard was known for going dirty low.
I don't like when a cornerback goes at you head down, head tucked down and all shoulder, because that just means you're not even trying.
No, that means you're just trying to hurt them. And I don't see. It's football, so it's like in one hand it is what it is, but on the other hand, like you can tell when there's a dirty low tackle, or when you know that their wide receiver is going up for that ball on that crossing route, going high intentionally to knock them. That's a dirty hit. Like defensive hits on defensive receivers, like you know those are dirty hits. But if it's just an open field tackle, you should wrap him up. But if you can't wrap him up, I'm not going to be mad if you go low. I'm not going to be mad if you go high. I'm going to be mad if you let them get a touchdown.
Right.
Like,
I want to see the tackle. I don't care if it's high, low, in between. I just want you to stop the ball.
Yeah.
Like that's the point of a tackle. I saw an interesting quote from Joe Thomas this week. Did you happen to see this? Joe Thomas, lineman for the Cleveland Browns.
10,000 snaps.
10,000 snaps in a row. Sadly, it's all for Cleveland. He said that at one point he had to actually introduce himself to the quarterback in the huddle because he had not met him. Well, any take on that at all? I know we're talking Cleveland quarterbacks here, but I thought it was kind of funny, honestly. And I don't know if it's true or not, and if he's just kind of spitting with the media. But I wouldn't put it past Cleveland the way that they've had quarterbacks before, that he may never have met a certain quarterback, given during practices, if you have that third-string quarterback that has to come in the game, it's unlikely that he probably had a snap with Joe Thomas.
I think Joe Thomas is a national treasure on Twitter. I think he is a Hall of Fame lock, along with because he's actually had a really good career. He's definitely going to the Hall of Fame.
He's had a long career.
You don't play 10,000 snaps in a row and not get in the Hall of Fame. Like that's a pretty big accomplishment. Which you have to be a pretty good football player to play that many snaps in a row. And I just love his Twitter account. I don't know if you saw it a couple weeks ago. He changed his profile. One of the broadcasts of the preseason had him as Joe Thomas, first offensive lineman ever. Or if they were trying to say
because he's been there so long.
They were trying to say something like one of the first offensive linemen on this Browns team. It was like first offensive lineman ever, and he changed that to his Twitter bio, and I loved it. And he's a great guy. Then there's the team photos of him in the sunglasses, which were Joe Thomas is hilarious, and I wish.
That's what I say. I don't know if what he said is true or not, but I wouldn't put it past Cleveland.
I wouldn't put it past a lot of teams, actually.
What was your feeling when Kaiser had to come out? Because for me, I was like, it was working.
I don't know. I saw him come out, and I'm like, migraines?
Migraine.
I'm like, migraines? Huh? So he's healthy.
He's healthy. He had a migraine, and it's for someone that gets migraines. That's going to take a toll. I don't know how. If you got to put a helmet on and hit people, that's the last thing you want to do.
No, I'd say you're just kind of like, okay, well, we'll see how he comes back next week. We'll see how he comes back this week. And
I don't know what his injury report is right now for if he's playing or not. He's not on the injury report, so I would assume he's ready to go. But it's just one of those things where Cleveland really seemed to have things clicking for the most part when we watched that first week. In the second week, it was kind of that sense again, wasn't it?
I mean, Cleveland is clicking. I think Cleveland is better than they are last year, and I think, they got the Colts coming up, which will be a win. They got the Bengals and Jets. They got 3 games in a row here that are winnable games for Cleveland. And actually, they play the Texans in a couple weeks. They got 4 games in a row here that are winnable games for Cleveland.
Well, I think they have definitely back-to-back weeks, and I thought they would have given Baltimore a tougher game last week too.
And we both picked Cleveland to win that game, and
right.
I think I'm picking.
We saw a lot of promise in them when they played the Steelers. So
I see a lot of promise in this team, and like I said, I think they could go 4-12 or 6-10 somewhere in that line. I think they drastically turn it around this year. And
the way that Cincinnati is playing right now, I wouldn't put past Cleveland to give them a heck of a. It's a divisional game.
I mean, this is the Browns' schedule: Colts, Bengals, Jets, Texans, Titans, Vikings, bye, Lions, Jaguars, Bengals.
Just those first
Chargers.
3 games. You said Colts, Bengals, Jets.
The
Colts still without Andrew Luck.
Ravens, Bears, Steelers. That's the rest of the
Cincinnati
Browns
hasn't seemed to be able to put anything together.
Look on that schedule and tell me you can't find 6 wins for the Browns, because you can find 6 wins for the Browns there. Like, you can easily. But I don't know. I think the Browns are better than what they are. But I love Joe Thomas. To go back to what the point is, I love Joe Thomas. He's a national treasure in my opinion. Yeah.
Jets owner has come out and said that they are definitely not tanking.
They're tanking.
How okay, as the NFL owner, of course you have to say this. Of course you do. But look what they did in the offseason. They got rid of everybody. And they signed nobody. So how does that really translate? If you're saying, I get you have to say it as an NFL owner, but it's clearly that they're doing something in order to. But what are they trying to gain from it?
I don't know.
Because have they realized that how bad the 49ers are as well?
You think anybody can look at the Jets and say what are they doing? They suck. Like they are. If they're not tanking, then they are a really, really, really incompetent front office. And if they're not intentionally tanking, this is a wonderful experience of incompetency in the NFL. That's what it is. Like.
This is like the days of Al Davis.
Like, no, at least Al Davis tried. Like, at least Al Davis was.
At least he was signing people. He wasn't just getting rid of people. He was signing
people money. Like, and man, like if I was a below average defensive end in the Al Davis era, I could have made $60 million too. But the Jets are just. There's no way. Like I know you have to say we're not tanking and
Clearly.
we're coming out and trying to win every game, but you do not field tank commander Josh McClown as your quarterback.
What's wrong with Josh McClown?
He's the tank commander. There's nothing wrong with him.
I like him.
I like him, but if you need,
wasn't he in the Verizon commercial?
That's his brother Luke.
Oh, I like Luke then.
Well, I think they were both in the Verizon commercial. But if you bring McClown in and say, you are our starting quarterback, you are saying, hey, man, we need a tank leader, a good veteran.
A tank leader.
Tank leader. He's tank commander Josh McClown. Like, he did it in Cleveland. He did it in, oh, my God, where has he been? Let's just look at the places Josh McClown has played. Let's look at Josh McClown's stats.
So, again, we're talking about why the Jets owner has come out and said, oh, yeah, we're not tanking. But clearly, I mean, from just their offseason alone and what they've been able to do this year, it proves that what you did over the offseason is tanking. Maybe you're not tanking now. Does that make sense? Like, that's not lying.
Not tanking, obviously.
And we're not tanking right now. We're playing. So, but we definitely were tanking over the offseason.
Josh McClown in the last couple of years of his career has played with the Jets, tank commander, the Browns, tank commander. The Buccaneers, they wanted to start him, but he was also tank commanding, so they could tank for Jameis. The Bears, he was a good backup for the Bears. The Panthers, he played a couple games for. The Raiders, tank commander. The Cardinals, and you mean to tell me in 03, 04, and 05 that the Cardinals weren't tanking?
So the Jets are trying to get the first-round pick by picking up McCown.
It's your safe bet.
So where does he go next year? Who wants the first-round pick next year?
I don't know who's going to be that bad.
Who's going to be maybe the
it's
Bengals?
Maybe it's time to go to Jacksonville. Maybe it's time to
What is wrong in Jacksonville?
Blake Bortles is the worst quarterback ever.
I believe he beat your team.
No. Blake Bortles did not beat the Texans. The Leonard Fournette and the defense beat the Texans.
Hey, someone's got a hand on the ball.
Blake Bortles.
Someone's got a hand on the ball.
We might.
Even Trent Dilfer has a Super Bowl ring.
Josh McClown might play in Washington next year if they lose Kirk Cousins. I can see a good tank coming on in D.C.
They can't franchise tag him again one more time, right?
They can't. Or it'd be like $60 million, which would be the worst ever. Or maybe the Chargers for tank commander Josh McClown. Who knows?
I did want to before we get into our football picks for the week, I did want to talk a little bit about baseball. We're in a pretty tight pennant race between the Red Sox and Yankees. The Red Sox clinching a playoff berth last night. But one thing I wanted to bring up was, do you think the wild card really means anything anymore?
No.
Because before, you used to get really excited because you got the wild cards like, great, we're in the first round, no problem, we can celebrate. But after last night, I think the Indians beating the Angels, the Red Sox were able to clinch a playoff berth, so they're at least a wild card team. But I couldn't get excited because that doesn't make any sense because then the wild card teams play each other in a one-game play-in, which you play 162 games to play one game and you're out.
I hate the wild card.
I can't stand it. I used to like it when it was one team, but now that it's two teams, they play each other, and then that team goes on to play.
I don't understand why we have to have a one-game play-in. Just give us a 3-game.
Right.
Just
3
give
games
us a
is all you
3-game
need.
series. And it was really to take the old.
Next year, they're actually starting the season earlier. So they'll have room for something like this.
I think it was the crotchety old baseball man. Well, we can't break tradition. So in order to add a wild card team. Because when they added the first wild card team, we can't break tradition. I hate the MLB about this, okay? 2 teams, 3 division winners, 2 wild cards, 3-game series between the 2 wild card winners. It's not that hard. Logistically, it's fine. It's not impossible. Day, travel day, game, travel day, game. It's 5 days, if that.
Right. I mean, it works in something like football where you have 2 wild card teams because they get to play the top 2 teams in the playoffs there. They don't play. I don't think they play each other, do they? No, they do play each other in football.
Now, the wild card game means really nothing because it is.
But it's different in football because that's a one game series anyway. Every football game is a one-game series. But in baseball, you're not going to play a whole 162 games for one game to count. There should be. The point of the postseason is to show what your team can do in a short amount of time, not one game short amount of time.
Look at a team like the Diamondbacks. The Diamondbacks are going to play most likely with the Rockies in the NL. The Diamondbacks have the 3rd best record in the NL, and they have to go play against the Rockies in a 1-game crapshoot. And if the Diamondbacks lose, they don't get a chance to play against the Dodgers or the Cubs or the Nationals in the postseason because it's 1 game. So if your pitcher comes out and has 1 bad inning,
all right, you put your best pitcher out there, and they have
1 bad inning after 162. I understand the pressure behind it, but that's not fair. It's not fair. And if you're going to make baseball players play 162 games and make it come down to 9 innings for the wild card teams, look, I get the drama. I get it was an uphill battle to add anything in the MLB, but they need to make it a 3-game series, okay? And if it's logistics of travel, it's like home, away. Then do that if you have to. But, it's not that hard to do a home, away, especially, these teams like Colorado and Arizona. Do you really need a travel day for Colorado and Arizona? You can travel at one point, and you have a couple days off at the very end of the season, too. You have a travel day at the end of the year. So, it's annoying, and I really hope the Red Sox don't have to play in that pennant game. They'll play against the Twins, which would be kind of fun.
Yeah, as of right now, I think that's what the standings are. But, I mean, if you're talking like Yankees and Twins, if those are your 2 wild card teams, I don't even give the Twins a chance because I think the Yankees can come out and win that game very easily.
I mean,
I think they have enough power to be able to do that. And even if they have a pitcher that pitches 4 or 5 runs in, they have that power to be able to overcome that.
In my opinion, the playoffs don't count to the ALDS or the NLDS. That's when I started saying, all right, it's October now,
And it's a 5-game series and a 7-game series, correct?
Yes, 5-7-7.
5-7-7 for ALDS, ALCS, World Series.
Yep, and I don't know. I like the idea of 3-5-7-7. I think that'd be perfect for the baseball format, and it's like, you don't give a lot of time, It's 2 games for the wild card teams, and that, I think, fixes the problem and makes it so, that 5th wild card spot means something.
Right.
Makes it so, that is, you want to play for that because you want to be in October.
As that 5th wild card, that 2nd wild card spot, it's like, oh, we just got in. Now we get a chance to prove that we can do it by beating this one team. But the other part is that other one team may have already had that spot locked up for some time.
Like the Diamondbacks.
The Red Sox right now, they're already locked into that at least one of those spots. So it's a bummer that they can't rest their players for the next week, 2 weeks or whatever it is, leading into the playoffs, because they have to be worried about having a 1-game play-in to get into the playoffs.
That's the thing about the Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks have been in that wild card spot since June because the Dodgers came out so hot and the Diamondbacks came out just as hot but just not hot enough. So now they've been sitting in that wild card spot for 3 months, and now they might have everybody. The pressure is going to be on them in that one game because they shouldn't choke, but they can choke easily. And
that's where the Red Sox are kind of right now. They can't really take their foot off the pedal because if the Yanks flop with them, then you're talking about you're waiting to see who you get to play, or you're putting out all your guns to try and even just get into the playoffs. Then you already have a disadvantage because for game 1 of that wild card, that only game 1, you're putting all your eggs in the basket trying to get that game win. And then the next game, you also want to come out guns blazing, but you've kind of used up.
And also, if I'm the Red Sox right now, I do not want to play the Indians. I do not want that.
No, I don't want to play them to the.
So I'm putting my foot on the pedal so I can get the Astros, and I think the ALCS is going to be Astros Indians, which will be a riot. But if I'm the Red Sox and I want a chance, I want to fix the Astros.
I don't count these Red Sox out.
I don't count the Red Sox out.
I've watched, I think, almost every single game this year, and it just alludes to me being a father now, and I'm up at 3 in the morning, and I have nothing else to watch, so I record the games. But this team is a lot. They are the definition of bend don't break.
They are, but the Astros, the Verlander move was the best.
I get
move
you
I've
keep
seen
saying
in a
the
while.
Verlander move, but the Red Sox team in general, they have this mentality about them where when you're watching the game, you're not saying how they're going to win the game. You're just saying when are they going to win this game, because that's been their MO the entire second half of the year and most of the first half too. Is they get down or they're tied or they get late into innings. They have the most postseason, most extra inning wins of any team right now. They almost went to they just swept the Orioles, which is a team that's been a thorn in their side all year. This was a series that should have changed the look of the AL East, and it didn't. It kept its status quo. It's still 3-game lead for the Red Sox. Those Orioles should have gone in there and given them a lot of trouble. They took them into extra innings for the first 2 games and then got smoked by Sale last night.
Shall they?
13 strikeouts. Also, first pitcher since Pedro Martinez for the Red Sox to have 300
I think the
strikeouts.
AL is going to be a lot of fun to watch in the playoffs. I think the NL will be a little less fun.
I think you won't, because the NL seems to have plateaued a little bit.
The Dodgers have sucked the last couple of weeks.
A lot.
Like, bad.
Yeah.
I think if the Diamondbacks get that, I think the Nationals, I was thinking about this morning, the Nationals are my favorite to win the NLCS because they're getting Harper back. They're 92-59. They haven't had Harper for a while now. I think they get him back. The Dodgers are just known for choking. The Cubs have been okay, but I think the World Series hangover has hung on them a little bit, and I don't know. I just don't believe in the Cubs this year. But I think it'll be Diamondbacks, Nationals for the NLCS. And I think
You're going Houston and Cleveland for the ALCS.
I'm going to go Houston, Cleveland for the ALCS. I want to see
Which aren't bad picks. These are 2 teams that already have their divisions locked up. They know where they're going to be come October.
But I think you can convince me that Boston could easily go over. Not easily, but I think Boston in 5 games.
I could easily convince you that Boston could.
Like I could see. There are 5 teams I think can win a World Series right now, and that is Washington, Arizona, Houston, Cleveland, Boston. Those are the 5 teams that I think that I actually put some respect on. And, LA, obviously they're 96-56, but they bought into their own hype.
Sure.
And that was just, but we talk about peaking too early. Whoa.
Well, that's what I've been saying about Cleveland, too, after this crazy streak. I think they've won, 26 of the last 27 games? And
yeah.
I seem to think that, too, but because they've locked up the division, they're now able to rest and get mentally prepared for the postseason.
Yeah,
and I had said that last week, like, are they peaking too early? Well, now that they've locked up, probably not.
They've locked up. They'll probably, coast down the stretch, get 102 wins. And
what are they at right now?
95.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll get 100 wins, coast down the stretch a little bit. Astros might get 100 wins. They have to get a little more hot. But, coast down the stretch, rest your starters, try to win every game, but not necessarily go for broke.
Yeah, and the Red Sox right now, they have Chris Sale again. He was kind of back to his old self last night against the Orioles. He went 8 innings, 13 strikeouts, no walks, no runs. I think a few hits, 4 hits or something like that. Just insane numbers against, again, a team that should come out and show a little more pop against Chris Sale, especially as hard-throwing as he is. Looking now that we've seen Chris Sale face an actual opponent, someone that's not, that could have been a postseason team, and it definitely hits like one. Are we finally can people start to ease off, step away from the bridge real quick and say, okay, Chris Sale's back, he's ready for postseason play?
I said this a couple of weeks ago. We can roll tape on the show a couple of weeks ago, and I said, if Chris Sale is going to struggle, please struggle in September, and he did. I think he'll be fine. He's not.
It's kind of a bummer. I don't think the Sox have. I think they have 3-game series, 2 3-game series left.
I believe so.
Or if it's not, it's 7 or 8 games, something like that. So Sale's only going to get one more start. He's only 13 strikeouts away from Pedro Martinez's all-time Red Sox record of 313. He's exactly 300. I thought it was a great decision by Farrell last night to put him in for the 8th inning. I know he was at 99 pitches, but like he had said in the post game, he was feeling fine. We always check in towards the end of games.
You're getting.
Given the circumstances, we're up by 7 or 8 runs. It doesn't hurt you if he goes out there and lets up a run or 2. And if anything, I think it really helped morale. That team looked so relaxed and so comfortable in the dugout throughout the entire game. They were down. They were 0-0 in like the 3rd or 4th inning. and Mookie Betts is just chilling on the sideline, joking around, hanging out with everybody.
Yeah.
You're not even winning, and you're having fun. So this is a team that I really want to see what. And again, I get to see them every day. I don't get to see these other teams and how they react. But I have those flashbacks of like 2013 and 2004 where you had a team that just has a lot of fun together, and that morale really boosts you come the end of the year, because you need that.
Yes, you do, and I think
it's a long season.
I think it's the Red Sox are loose. The Red Sox are fun. They could easily make their way to the World Series based off the fact that they don't have the expectations placed on them this year. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how the playoffs. I'm actually looking forward to the MLB playoffs.
Right, for like the first time in a while.
For the first time in a couple of years, I'd say I'm looking at this and saying, wow, we got a really good race in the AL. We have 3 really good teams, plus we got the Yankees that have power. We got the Twins that are the Twins are fun to watch. They are fun to watch.
Twins are a weird part of the race here, because I don't really count them. I haven't counted them in years. So for them to all of a sudden come out and they're still sticking around and and a chance to hit the postseason, it's funny.
They rebuilt and they're coming back, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
I still don't think I can name a player on that team. Is Mauer still there?
Sanu? Mauer, yeah.
Okay, there you go. I know
Sanu's
one.
in the home run derby. Did you not watch the home run derby this year?
I stopped watching after Giancarlo Stanton was kicked out by Gary Sanchez in the first round, after people criticized that Gary Sanchez shouldn't be in the first round. I watched the whole thing. I just didn't remember.
Also, Bartolo Colon plays for the Twins.
He does play for the Twins. That's right.
Big Sexy is pitching for Minnesota, and yeah.
That's what he's got to say. Judge his 45th home run last night.
Doesn't matter, not 50.
Giancarlo.
Doesn't matter, not Stanton.
He still has 7 games.
Doesn't matter, not Stanton.
And Stanton's got 56 now. 56. It is 56 last night. So, I want to get into Judge, because everyone's just calling him the front runner for Rookie of the Year. But does he deserve Rookie of the Year honors? He's the first rookie with 100 RBIs, 100 runs, and 45 home runs in a season.
Oh yeah, he's runaway Rookie of the Year.
He also has the Major League almost by 2 more. He's 2 away from having the MLB record for most strikeouts in a season.
Hey,
he's at
a record's a record.
He's at 190. Don't say a record is a record.
A record's a record.
How do strikeouts not come into play here?
I mean, look, he's a power hitter. He's your standard power hitter. He's going to hit home runs.
He's not a standard power. He's definitely the anomaly for a power hitter.
I think he should win Rookie of the Year because he has the 44 home runs and their 100 RBIs.
But he also has a lot of strikeouts. A lot of strikeouts.
Which is what
almost the most strikeouts ever.
Which disqualifies, that's
he also went on a streak of most strikeouts in a row. Most games with a strikeout in a row for a rookie.
That was a fun month.
That was a fun month leading after the All-Star game.
Red Sox fan, that was a fun month. I'm not gonna take away with the strikeouts.
Most strikeouts Chris Sale has against
what
a person
is his average?
is tied
like
for
270 or something still.
And also that's the other part too. He's batting only 270.
That's good enough for Rookie of the Year. MVP? No. Rookie of the Year? Yeah.
Who now is it? Who's your shot for MVP then? Because everyone always goes to Altuve because of the average.
Oh man.
But that team is just so. Again, I go back to...
They're loaded.
Here's the thing I go back to is when you're talking about MVP, it shouldn't just be a player that is outstanding in the field throughout the whole field. I think it should be a player that helped his team win. If you take Altuve off that team, I still think the Astros are winning that division. Very easily. In my opinion, this Red Sox team is not in first place without Chris Sale. It's not in first place without Chris Sale. They're not even close. They're not even close.
So you can't now.
And you can't. No, because you just told me that it's okay that Judge has 199 strikeouts. It's no big deal. Look what he's doing on the offense. Okay, well, look at Chris Sale's doing.
Yeah,
he's got 17 wins. 17 wins, 300 strikeouts. Come on.
I mean,
he's the last pitcher to have 300 strikeouts in the league.
I don't know, but I think
pretty sure it was Verlander. What did he do that year?
He
won the MVP.
But Verlander carried.
Carried what? Verlander. Continue that sentence. Verlander carried what? The Detroit Tigers willed them. What do you think Chris Sale's doing right now?
I think the Red Sox are loaded, though.
No, come on. How are they loaded? How are they loaded?
They have 2 Cy Young winners already on the staff. Like
You're talking about Porcello.
Porcello
who has less than 10 wins this year.
Wasn't there another one on the staff?
He has Pomerantz. Yes, he's got 16 wins this year. That's a little different.
No, it is a little different, but also saying that
he's not as dominant as Chris Sale is right now.
Saying that Chris Sale has carried this team to the playoffs.
Take Chris Sale out of that.
You have 3 Cy Young winners, all right? Let's calm down.
3 Cy Young winners.
Pomerantz, didn't he win a Cy Young?
No.
He didn't win a Cy Young.
Porcello won it, and he lost it to Verlander, who probably shouldn't have lost it to Verlander.
Verlander should have won that Cy Young. But, the Red Sox have good pitching and good offense, and I don't know. Here's the thing about...
You take away Chris Sale, you've lost at least 20 wins this year. I know he only has 17, but they still won games that he didn't get a win in. That's 20 games.
Here's the thing about the AL MVP.
That's not even in the wild card. That's not even a wild card race.
I'm going to take this a step back because we're looking at just Chris Sale, but I don't think there's a clear-cut AL MVP candidate because all the AL teams that are good teams that have a couple of star players on them that are helping to carry the team. The Red Sox have Chris Sale.
So does the MVP come from a team that isn't in the race?
This is how Mike Trout won it last year. This is where you can make that argument because, the Red Sox, the Houston Astros, the Cleveland Indians are all well-rounded rosters with star pitching and star hitting to match. So it's really hard to pick one player out of those teams and say, you have willed this team to victory enough so where, to the Mike Trout levels of willing a team that wasn't in the playoffs to victories. And, Chris Sale has been great. I don't want to take away the dominance of Chris Sale, but it's such a weird year for the MVP because there are so many good teams. He's
going to get votes. He's going to
get votes.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's second in voting.
I would not be surprised if he's second in voting as well, and I would not be surprised if Jose Altuve won it just because, he's been there forever and has been that.
Isn't he injured for a time this year?
He's injured for 2 weeks.
And Chris Sale had a couple bad starts, so it's kind of, it's tit for tat, isn't it?
And I think maybe Altuve gets it because he's been with the Astros. He rebuilt that team. That's the difference between a Chris Sale.
It doesn't matter what you've done before.
It doesn't matter what you've done before.
It matters what you did this year. But Chris Sale is part of the Red Sox of this year.
But Altuve's been great this year, though. Too.
If I'm weighing the two, Chris Sale, I would put him well above Altuve as great performances. Honestly, I would. I get what Altuve's doing, but if you want to bring in the year in and year out, I mean, both of them have done the same thing every year, except Chris Sale this year has brought it up a level. He brought a team that wasn't a good postseason team last year, and he's literally on their back and brought in a new life into this team with these young players. The Red Sox, with as young as they are, shouldn't be this good. They shouldn't be. They should be learning how to deal with a young roster, and they're not. They have a player in Chris Sale that is, it's almost like he's boosted other players as well, because Pomerantz was supposed to be your 5th starter this year. He's got 16 wins this year.
So I think you look at it as, because I'm looking at Jose Altuve, I'm looking at the Sporting News article right now. It's between Altuve and Sale, obviously. Unless if you want to give Corey Kluber, he's been pretty good too with a 7.9 WAR, just a smidge of buzz. I think this is going to be a year where we look at the advanced stats because we have 3 teams that have had really good players and say, okay, well, all right, stat nerds, tell us who should the MVP be.
If you're a voter for the MVP, you need to have Kluber and Sale in this conversation, and you need to think about them very seriously.
And that is the conversation. Yeah.
But your argument against Sale was there's another player on there that does just as well in Pomerantz.
And so is Cleveland. You can make that argument for all of them.
Yeah.
I think.
I just think if you took Sale out of that rotation, Pomerantz doesn't have the season he has, and that team isn't even a wild card.
Who are you replacing Sale with in that rotation?
David Price is supposed to be your number one. He was supposed to be your number one.
David Price, and look what happened. That's the other Cy Young one I was talking about.
Look what happened to him. He hasn't played almost all season.
David Price is still alive? I'm going to Google that.
He's out of the bullpen right now.
David Price
alive. He's coming out of the bullpen, so that's part of it. If you take Chris Sale out of this team, You take Altuve out of the team, I still think that they do. I still think they make the playoffs.
I don't think. I mean,
Yeah, I do. Absolutely, I do.
But you take.
I will always. I think I will always put pitching over batting, and that's my preference because you need. It's the same thing with. It's my same reaction to football. I will always put defense over offense. I think you need a better defense and an average offense. I think you need better pitching and an average offense to do well in the MLB.
I don't know. If I had to rank it, I'd say Altuve, Sale, cannot pronounce his last name. Kluber. Those would be my top three.
Russell Westbrook.
Russell
Westbrook.
It was funny. I was reading some tweets from Bryce. Apparently, traffic is backed up in Burlington. So if you want to go to Burlington today, don't. On the interstate.
Oh, the traffic of Burlington. So sad.
Yeah, Bryce.
Try living in a major city.
Bryce. Okay.
Try living in a major city.
What major city are you referring to?
Boston or Albany? Which one would one would you like me to refer to? Because Albany has some great traffic patterns, and it's still a mess.
At least
what?
At least Boston and Albany have more than 3 lanes on their interstate.
I agree with you. That's why I said try living in a. People complain about the traffic, and it's because they're what? Are you 3 minutes late to work? Oh, sad.
I mean, I drove around New Jersey for a week, and it was so nice having extra lanes on the
lane. Right.
I was just like, this is so nice. This is so nice. Because even when traffic was slow.
Well, we don't want to cut into the beautiful mountains that Vermont has.
Don't get me started on. Don't get me started on the amount of lanes in I-89. You will have me going for 2 hours. Two is not enough. 2 is not enough.
We got 15 minutes left here on Huddle Up. We're going to go to football. We're going to go to our picks right now. First game of the week is tonight on Thursday. Rams and 49ers. Dustin, you know me. I always like to go a little outside the box. Give me a reason the 49ers win tonight. Give me one reason. I want one reason why the 49ers win tonight.
I can't.
I got one for you. I have a reason.
Carlos Hyde, maybe?
No, I have a reason the Rams actually win tonight.
You mean the 49ers actually win tonight?
Sorry, the 49ers win tonight.
What is your reason?
The Rams bus breaks down. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Right? They don't show up, and they have to forfeit.
They have to forfeit. They have to get some
winners. Because Goff is looking really good. We like him at the beginning of the season. It almost makes you believe that they knew what they were doing last year by letting him not play.
It's like the Rams had a long-term plan and built a team and then drafted the quarterback after the team got built, and now are just needing to build around the quarterback. And hey,
it works.
It's something. Hey, I'd be excited to see playoff football come back to LA, especially for the Rams, not for the Chargers.
Not for the Chargers. No, we're not talking about you, Mr. Phillip Rivers.
But for the Rams, who are originally from LA, I'd love to see it. I'm picking the Rams tonight, going away.
Yeah, I'm taking them as well. I think the 49ers just have shown what they are this year, and it's a whole lot of nothing.
Ravens, Jaguars. This game's going to suck.
Now, here's a game where you go, all right, so Ravens, Jaguars. We both don't think that Bortles will do anything for Jacksonville.
But I don't believe in Joe Flacco.
I don't believe in Joe Flacco. And then there's that like Twilight Zone parallel here of they're in London. Anything can happen because it seems to be the case every time a team goes to London. You go, what's going to happen? Because you go, oh, this is clear cut the result. And then they go to London, and it's just an explosion of what's going on?
Oh man, I want to pick the Jaguars, but
you want to pick the Jaguars, right?
I just want to believe that the Jaguars can be competent, so I'm just going to pick the Ravens.
You're going to pick the Ravens. Okay.
Picking the Ravens.
All right. I
can't pick this game.
This game stinks.
Because now that I've picked
the Ravens are 2-0. They are 2-0.
But because now that I've picked the Ravens,
I think
the Jaguars are going to win.
I think because I just don't want to chance a loss on this game because it's so weird against you, I'm going to also pick the Ravens because I just don't.
Jaguars are winning 31-6. Calling it now because we both picked them.
We both picked the Ravens.
Browns, Colts.
Where are you?
I have.
I got Denver at Buffalo.
Oh, okay.
For the first 1 o'clock game.
Denver and.
So Denver at Buffalo. Buffalo hasn't. They're 1-1. They lost last week to.
Broncos are winning
to the Panthers,
Not
right?
Not even a contest. Broncos are winning.
But the Broncos team looked scary against Dallas,
didn't
they?
Top 5 quarterback, and I can't even this year.
Last year, all we're talking about is Broncos. Yeah, they have a defense, but they don't have a quarterback.
No. I think last year with the Broncos, Trevor Siemian was thrown under the bus.
Absolutely,
way
Clearly
too much.
Was.
And I think he was a pretty decent quarterback, and I think he was a serviceable quarterback.
He's proving it now, right?
Yeah, no, I think he's a good quarterback. I think he's easily top 15. I think he's between that 10 to 15 range of quarterbacks. So I'm picking the Broncos.
Picking the Broncos. At Buffalo, Broncos.
At Buffalo.
New Orleans at Carolina. Didn't see a whole lot out of New Orleans this week against the Patriots, but we haven't seen anything out of Carolina. They've only scored, what did we say earlier? They've scored 32 points this year, but they've only given up 6.
Haven't seen anything out of Carolina.
They haven't played anybody. They
Carolina
played,
are 2-0. The Saints don't have a defense. Carolina gets their offense going for a good 28, 31
We thought
points.
they were going to happen. That was going to happen last week against the Bills, and it didn't happen.
I think Carolina's at home. They're 2-0. The Saints have been bad. Saints go to 0-3. Panthers move to 3-0.
We're going to wait on 1 second. One question I did. I said coaches are on the hot seat. Our quarterback's on the hot seat as well, and I'll preface that by saying with New Orleans, is this the last year of the Sean Payton, Drew Brees connection?
I don't think Drew Brees is on the hot seat, but I think Drew Brees should leave New Orleans after this year.
Well, if he leaves New Orleans, where else is he going to go?
He can. Drew Brees strikes me as this journeyman.
Journeyman?
Not
How
journeyman,
can you say that?
but like...
Isn't he been there since 05,
He
06?
can journey out to a place. He can leave New Orleans and go to a place like Arizona and give them a good year, or... He can find
But if you're Arizona, wouldn't you want to have a younger quarterback for once?
I'll take 2 years of Drew Brees towards the end of his career. Like Peyton Manning. I consider it like Peyton Manning.
The last 2 years of Peyton Manning's career weren't the... I mean, one was record-setting, and one was you need to sit down.
But I think you can get one of those years out of Brees, and I would be okay with taking one of those years out of Brees.
So going with Carolina.
I think Sean Payton is overrated. Ron Rivera is doing a good job. If Ron Rivera wins this game...
I really want to pick Carolina, but I picked them the last couple weeks, and I'm just... Again, I'm winning, clearly, but at the same time, it's like, I really expected a lot more. I still have, for some reason, Kelvin Benjamin on my fantasy team. I don't know why I haven't gotten rid of him.
I did that for a year, too.
No, you did it last. I think you did it last year. Yeah, no kidding. So this year, I'm like, I really want to kind of get into the whole. I believe in the offense. I'm waiting for Christian McCaffrey to go off. I'm waiting for Cam Newton to finally, dust off the rust, and it just doesn't seem to happen.
You know what? They're 2-0 and they're
against bad teams. Against really bad teams.
The Saints are a bad team. I think the Panthers win again, and they go to 3-0. I think they'll be the worst 3-0 team in the league, but 3-0 is 3-0.
I'm also going with the Panthers. Well, and for the sheer reason, they're home.
They're home, and the Saints don't have it. The Saints let the fifth-string wide receiver for the Patriots go off. The Saints don't have a defense. Their defense is terrible.
They didn't have a fifth-string wide receiver. They only dressed 3.
Well, whoever it was.
But that's crazy. You only dressed 3 wide receivers.
What they all have, 150 yards apiece? Jeez, I hate the Saints defense.
No. Gronkowski did, but he's not a wide receiver.
I hate the Saints defense so much. Next game?
Pittsburgh at Chicago.
Pittsburgh.
Atlanta at Detroit.
This game's going to be fun.
I think it's only going to be fun because Detroit is 2-0 this year.
This is your 2-0 versus 2. This is your game of the week.
And they've actually, and believe it or not, as crazy as the Atlanta Falcons offense, we've said it multiple times, Detroit has technically scored 2 more points.
The Falcons have been fun to watch. The Lions have been fun to watch. Both these teams are fun to watch.
Are they both fun to watch?
Yeah. The Falcons were.
Heard it here.
I mean, the Sunday night football game, that was a riot.
That Atlanta team is...
They fast.
Stay off. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. They fast. That is a really quick offensive attack.
Mohamed Sanu is your slowest wide receiver on that team.
I do not see this Lions team keeping up with the Atlanta Falcons.
No, I don't think the Super Bowl hangover is not there.
I almost wish this was the Monday night game.
I wish this.
We'll get into the Monday night game soon.
I wish this was your Sunday night. I wish we could.
This would be a great Sunday night
already because this would be a good Sunday night game.
I've said already so far that because I have Red Zone, but the Red Sox, the Pats are on at 1:00. I almost wish that they were on another time because some of the good games are usually are at 1:00. Last week they were at 4, which is perfect for me because watch the Pats and then get to flip through all these games. So this game is something I'd really like to watch, and I will definitely be keeping my eye on.
Man, I kind of want to pick the Lions.
Take that stretch. Take that.
I'm taking the Lions.
All right,
I went Falcons.
Yeah, I went the Falcons. That offense just looks too scary.
They are. Both offenses look good. Both teams look good.
And Detroit did beat Indy, right?
Detroit beat Arizona and New York.
Yeah, I don't see that. New York clearly didn't show anything.
I think it's going to be a shootout, like 35-31. I think this is going to be...
I think that Falcons defense steps up a lot more than you think.
I don't know. I like both teams. Yeah. I wish I could pick both teams to win here.
And then we love this game so much. Cleveland at Indy.
Let's go, Cleveland.
No faith in Jacoby Brissett?
Absolutely no faith in Cleveland.
No,
not faith. No Cleveland.
No faith in Cleveland.
No faith.
No
in,
faith in Cleveland.
No faith in the Colts. They Colts
but
are.
They have Jacoby Brissett.
They are a
his second start
bad
of the year.
football team. It
Hey.
doesn't matter. Yeah, it's not Jacoby Brissett.
Whoa. Who did they play last year?
Arizona.
Last week. Arizona, and they took them to overtime
Because they
with
blew,
Jacoby Brissett.
They blew a 10-point lead.
It's Jacoby Brissett.
It's not Brissett's fault that the Colts defense blew a 10-point
It's a player
lead.
that just doesn't. He's played like 2 games in his entire life.
All right, and what did the Colts do that week before?
You know what one of those games was? A Thursday night game against
Don't
the Houston
you even
Texans.
go there. I hate you so much.
It's a win for Jacoby Brissett.
That's cool. I want the Browns to win. The Browns are a
I
good team.
want the Browns to win.
The Colts are a bad football team.
We now have 2 weeks of Jacoby Brissett with this offense.
Yeah.
Is Andrew Luck
scored 13
still out?
points.
Is Andrew Luck still not playing?
Andrew Luck is dead.
He's dead.
No, he's dead. I don't know where he is, but he is dead.
Indianapolis Colts, Andrew Luck. Oh, he's out. Okay.
He's out. He still hasn't practiced yet. No, the Browns win this game. The Colts are the worst football team I have ever seen.
Oh, no, they are not. The Jets and the 49ers are so much worse.
I don't know. I think if the Jets played the Colts straight up right now, I think
I only
the Jets.
have the next week's lineup here, and
They don't play
the Jets play the Jaguars. Oh boy, that might be our crap game of the week.
Oh boy, we got to get Bryce back for Bryce Lock there.
And Indy plays the Seahawks, so on Sunday Night Football.
Guess what's going to have record low ratings next week?
Sunday Night Football.
Sunday Night Football.
That's okay. There's other stuff to watch. I think The Simpsons and stuff come back. Family Guy.
I could just go to bed early.
Oh, the Orville. Have you seen the Orville? Have you watched that yet?
Is it good?
I actually really enjoy it. It's witty humor.
I caught a little bit of it, and I was like, wow, this isn't really Seth MacFarlane-y. This is actually decent.
It's witty humor. I like it.
like,
I'm a fan. I like the cast. I think the cast is
Part of me wants to like that show, but the other part of me wants it to fail on principle.
It is weird that it's an hour long. I think that I thought it would be only like a half-hour kind of show.
It's supposed to be like a Star Trek spoof, which is...
I think it's doing a pretty good job.
It's okay.
Okay, so you're taking the Cleveland. Oh man, do I really want to take Indy here?
Cleveland again.
But again, it's one of those like Baltimore Jaguar things.
You're really
like,
going to take the Colts?
You know what? I'm only going to take Cleveland because I'm now taking them every week this year.
Okay.
I think so. Let's see. Cleveland. I know they're not highlighted, so I should be able to find them easily. Oh no, I did take Pittsburgh week 1.
Yeah.
But I took Cleveland last week, so this is my second consecutive week of taking Cleveland. The first time I've ever done
Welcome
that.
to the ship, buddy.
Tampa Bay at Minnesota.
Yeah, I don't know what to think about this game. Tampa Bay came out and just crushed the Bears, but they were also the Bears. But Minnesota, I don't know who Minnesota's quarterback is at this point. If it's Case Keenum, the Buccaneers win. If it's,
I think even with a hurt Sam Bradford, they're still not going to be able to compete well with a healthy Tampa Bay team. I'm going with Tampa if it makes you change your mind anyway.
Let's see how
Nope, don't look.
Sam Bradford.
He's hanging out with Andrew Luck. Let's go.
Practice.
Oh, come on.
Sam Bradford.
He's questionable. He was limited. Pick. Come on.
Buccaneers.
Houston at New England.
Patriots.
Oh, come on, really? You're not even going to give me a fight on this one.
So, the Texans have a chance. If they came out and did what they did against the Patriots in the AFC divisional game last year, they have a chance.
Or week 3 of the
They have a
regular
chance.
season.
I think this game is going to be closer, but the Texans' offense, 1 touchdown in 2 weeks. Well, 2 touchdowns, but it was a garbage time touchdown. But but also Deshaun Watson now has
all
had
Houston Texan touchdowns are garbage time. Just think.
all right, back-to-back AFC South champs.
Oh my God, in a terrible division.
I don't care. 2 years in a row. But I want to see how Deshaun Watson plays in this game.
Fun little fact about Deshaun Watson. I was watching the Belichick press conference yesterday, and one of the reporters said, "Hey, would you reach out to someone like Nick Saban to see like what he has on someone like Deshaun Watson after playing him last year?" And Belichick's response was, "Yeah, I don't know." He just says, "I don't know."
Why would you reach
so does
out
that
to
mean
Nick
that
Saban?
because he played Deshaun Watson last year?
They lost to Deshaun Watson.
Still happens.
last
You still have something on him. So I think it was really funny. He had that reaction almost as if like, "Hey, I did it like weeks ago."
Like, everybody knows, like, the Patriots and Texans play each other in the preseason every year. They had a joint practice. Everybody's seen Deshaun Watson. This isn't new.
Nope. Miami at New York.
What New York? Oh, yeah, Dolphins.
Yeah, I have them too. I have faith in Cutler. Did he look so relieved last week when they won? Did you see what he?
I love Jay Cutler.
That face
Jay
of like,
Cutler,
hey, I won a game.
Jay Cutler is your alcoholic uncle who smokes a bunch of Marlboro Lights and just chucks the ball. He's Uncle Rico.
Uncle Rico. Okay,
He's
I can see Uncle Rico.
Uncle Rico was born.
I can throw a football a quarter mile.
Like if Uncle Rico spent the first
running out of
18
time.
of his life
Giants
in the casino,
at Philly.
Philly?
I already put your name down.
Philly? I don't know. The Giants are awful.
Very awful. Like, beyond
Philly.
awful.
Yeah, I'll take
it. The Phillies at home. I don't know. I'm going to take a Philly. I don't know what Philly's record is this year. They are
1-1.
1-1.
But they played well in that Chiefs game.
They did. Seahawks at Tennessee.
Seahawks.
Ooh, I'm going to go with Tennessee on this one.
I
don't have the faith. I don't have any faith in Seahawks in offense. They haven't shown me anything.
And
it's an offense that should be scoring.
I think the offense fixes it this week.
I don't think so. Cincinnati at Green Bay.
Until they score a touchdown, I'm picking against the Bengals. Packers all the way.
It shouldn't even be a question. It's Green Bay.
Should be.
I know they got kind of owned by Atlanta, but they were still a couple touchdowns away.
The Bengals have not scored a touchdown.
I feel really bad for the Bengals.
The Bengals have not scored a touchdown this year. How can you pick them to win a football game?
They scored 9 points.
It's all field goals.
I know. I feel really bad for Cincinnati because I feel like Aaron Rodgers is going to take them out back, and it's not going to go well.
It's going to be 0-3 in Cincinnati.
Kansas City at Los Angeles Chargers.
You mean San Diego and the Chiefs. I refuse to acknowledge the Los Angeles Chargers as the Los Angeles Chargers.
They're in Los Angeles.
I refuse.
The Chargers.
I refuse.
I just refuse to acknowledge Phillip Rivers. Oakland at Washington. When you looked at this at the beginning of the year, I think you said more on the lines of like, no, this should be a good game. But Oakland should roll, right?
Kirk Cousins balls out, but Oakland wins the game.
Kirk Cousins balls out.
Kirk Cousins throws for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. Oakland wins 42-28.
And then Monday night game, a sad offensive showing of a team. Sorry, not offensive, defensive showing lately. Dallas Cowboys at Arizona Cardinals.
Can we just not have this game?
Does it?
Can we just?
I know he only rushed for 8 yards, but if Ezekiel Elliott is playing, don't you give them the edge?
Yeah, the Cowboys are going to win.
But if he's not playing, do you still give him the? I don't know. He's an X factor.
The Cardinals have been terrible. The Cardinals have shown me nothing.
They're 1-1.
Yeah, they're 1-1 because they played the Colts, who blow a lead to anybody. They literally played.
They went to overtime.
The Colts
and they almost lost to Jacoby Brissett.
Lead. The Colts blew a 10-point lead.
You keep saying that like it's a big thing.
I keep
it's
saying
not.
it like
it's 10 points.
The Colts suck.
It's a touchdown and a field goal.
It's a touchdown and a field goal.
That's it. It's not like they blew a 25-point lead in the Super Bowl.
It's a touchdown and a field goal where if you had a competent defense, you would not give up a touchdown and a field goal in the last 7 minutes of a football game. Like, it's not that hard. When you're up 10 with 7 minutes left to go, you should not lose that game. Like,
you shouldn't lose Super Bowl when you're down by 25 in the third quarter with 3.5 minutes left to go.
We're not talking about the Falcons. We're talking about
and that was an elite offense.
That was Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan should.
Isn't he with the 49ers now?
He's the 49ers.
So what's the problem? Everyone's getting their just desserts, right?
Yeah, he is.
He's getting karma.
Yeah, he's getting karma.
I don't know why he went to the 49ers, but he did.
Because he wants to be a coach.
So you're taking Dallas on this one as well? We didn't really differentiate a lot this week. We have a couple different picks. I have Atlanta, you have Detroit, and then I have the Seahawks. So you have the Seahawks, and I have Tennessee. So it's likely, in my mind, we're going to split those. So because I don't see it going. Because
the NFL has been awful this year. Nobody is good. Nobody is good.
It doesn't get better next week. You have just to kind of prelude to it. Chicago is playing Green Bay for the Thursday night game, and then New Orleans and Miami start you off on Sunday in London. It's not going to be a fun week for that. Where are the Patriots on this? Oh, they're playing Carolina. That's going to be a good game.
Yeehaw!
Yeehaw? I don't understand. And then Tennessee gets to beat up on Houston as well, so that's good. That's going to do it for another week here on Huddle Up. Dustin to my right, Paul, I'm right here. We'll see you next week for another edition here of Huddle Up on Thursday morning at 9.